Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a pre-ride inspection on the old 13 Sportsman. Just going to go through it, tire pressure, lube everything up, go over all the fluids, make sure everything's good to go. We've got a ride scheduled for tomorrow morning. We're going to be going out to a place called Rancheria outside of Butte Falls, Oregon. I'm not really anticipating snow. There should be this time of year, but I kind of doubt there is any. But just get her set up for running mud and go from there. Would you take a look at that? Just that easy. Turns out we're good on our not so hot juice. Naturally, there's 15,000 grease zerks on this machine, half of which are very difficult to get to. So kind of just go around to the ones that are easily accessible and pump some grease in them and hope the others are good. So I did find this front drive shaft. The U-joints are pretty sloppy at this point. I don't know how you're going to be able to see it, but try to work it back and forth. It's got a pretty significant amount of play, especially in this back joint. So I will be putting some U-joints in that front drive shaft here in the near future. But it's too late in the day to do anything about it for this trip. So we'll run it. Hopefully we don't have a joint failure. Fingers crossed. It's just some of these zerks are so difficult to get your hand in there without taking a bunch of stuff apart. Been really impressed with this machine. I bought this brand new in 13, and really, aside from just routine maintenance and upgrading on things, putting the lift on, the snorkel kit, and what have you, I haven't really had any failures on it. You had to replace anything that I can think of. I mean, just oil changes and fluids and greasing and I would say it's a quality unit. And if you had the opportunity to buy a Sportsman XP of whatever flavor you prefer, I wouldn't hesitate to. Oh, I guess that's the other thing. I have replaced the drive belt a few times, but I have, I don't know, 2,000 miles on this or something. Some godly amount. When I first got it, the wife and I, we'd be out every weekend before my son was born, of course, and we'd be out every weekend riding, go hunt on it. It got a lot of use. At this point, I got one group of guys that I ride with, and it's usually 1 or 2 rides a year. So it spends a lot of time just sitting, but that's why it's not a bad idea to go over this stuff, that one time a year or whatever. Probably gonna be really, like, if there's no snow out in Rancheria, I'd be willing to bet it's gonna be nice and muddy, which is kind of just as fun to me anyway. I like taking it out in the mud, swimming in it, out in the bogs. Just riding that wheelie at a half a mile an hour through a pond. It's a good time. I think we've just about got all of the Zerks in the back anyway. I could have swore there was one for this lower control arm bushing on the spindle, but I don't see one. For all that, looks pretty decent. In the front, those upper control arms are very, very difficult to get to, so did the best I could there. So I got a question for any of you guys out there that, whether you're a mechanic or you just work on your own stuff or whatever, as far as grease zerks and greasing things goes, is it just me, or does anyone else actually wipe the excessive grease off of the grease zerk after you're done greasing a piece of equipment or a car or whatever you're doing? Because it's little shit like that that drives me nuts. I don't know how many, it seems like it's really common on any of these late model Chevys that actually still have greasable joints in their steering setups, for the mechanic that's servicing that said steering setup to just leave big old globs of grease chilling on the grease zerks to harden up and make a big mess for the next guy. Since when did that become commonplace? Like, comes back to taking pride in your work, you know, taking care of the customer. They might not know it looks like shit and there's giant globs of grease under there, but you do. Clean up after yourself. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know, maybe it's just one of those stupid things that bother me, but it's really annoying when, you know, you go to grease something for someone, you have to clean off 10 pounds of dried on grease because the last guy couldn't clean up after himself. I don't know. The world we live in, huh? All right. Dinosaur juice. Probably one of the most crucial components. And it's really not super convenient how my snorkel kit was designed, with the inlet for the CVT housing running directly over the dipstick. It makes it a great time trying to get this thing in and out, but it's doable. You gotta pull or ripping and a tearing. See, it pushes out that plastic far enough that it's pretty difficult. Yeah. Right to the full mark. Look how clean that oil is. I think we went on one ride since I changed this oil last. That looks good. Now if I can get the dipstick back in its home. Oh, come on. Whew. Yeah. I tell you, if I didn't know that this machine took exactly 2 quarts, constantly checking this when you were changing the oil to determine that you have the right level would not be a great time. And I only check it just because it's probably sat here a year since it's been run, so snug that up with some pliers. You know, you got to keep it waterproof for when she's swimming. Okay, Might as well pull the air filter out and check that, I suppose. Do that. Guys, want to see something cool? At least I think it's cool. Is that sweet or what? I took the K&N sticker that comes with your K&N filters, cut it perfect circle to make it fit down in that cover's hole. I thought that was just a cool little touch. Well, my pre-filter is nice and dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and just assume that this thing could use a cleaning. So I suppose we'll do that. If I can get the pre-filter off. It actually kept the air filter relatively clean, but it's got a little dirt in it. We'll clean it. Tell you one thing, it doesn't hurt it to be clean. Unless, of course, you soak it in oil and then, you know, so much oil that it's sucking through the intake. I suppose you could hurt it if you really wanted. So we got the filter all cleaned and oiled. Put our pre-filter back on it. Went ahead and checked the tire pressure on the trailer and on the tires on the machine. Should be good on that front. Got 7.5 pounds because I'm not anticipating snow. Like I said, I think it's going to be pretty muddy. So it's probably going to be a lot more high speed riding. Probably don't need flotation as much. So I want a little more air in them. Usually in the snow I like to run maybe 4 or 5 pounds. Okay. Shove that back in its home. I even cleaned the cover. What a guy. Oh, that seal was good at the top. That's all there is to that. Yep. Looks like stuff. Put our seat back on. We'll say we're ready. So, until tomorrow, or right now for you guys, we're gonna go ride. Enjoy. know if y'all saw that. Belt slipping. We did suck water into the clutch housing, so I'm draining it. So for whatever reason, the audio from this GoPro was wanting to pick up some rattling noise mounted to the front bumper of that four-wheeler. So that's why we did a lot of the music overlay. Hopefully it turned out all right and you guys liked it. I ended up draining that clutch housing, putting the plug back in. We continued to ride after that. No big deal there. I got water in the clutch housing just because I currently have the snorkel for the clutch housing removed, because that snorkel kit that I put on there is complete garbage on how they had that connection designed. It's just a flexible PVC elbow that's round but has to mount to a oval shaped inlet on that clutch housing. So I've constantly had issues with it falling off and not realizing it falls off till I'm in the middle of a pond and filling the clutch housing with water and having the belt slip, kind of like what happened here. Luckily I made it out of the pond, but one of the guys I ride with that was actually on this ride does 3D printing, and I'm going to end up having him print me up an elbow to put on that clutch housing so I can get that snorkel hooked back up and not have to worry about this anymore. But till then, we'll make do with what we got. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will catch you guys on the next one.